Are you ready for what looms ahead? Here's what we added to our preps lately. Are these on your list? Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome back, friends, and to our first-time viewers, welcome. Our goal is to motivate as many people as we can to be prepared for any situation and help give you tools and ideas to get there. Today, I'm sharing a prepper pantry haul with you so you can see what kind of food and gear we're stocking up on. It's important to always be adding to, rotating, and improving your preps because one thing I can tell you, I can pretty much guarantee you the minute you fall lax in your prepping is the moment something will happen. That's just the law of the universe. And we've seen a lot of little things happening that seem fairly insignificant, but I think they're part of something bigger that's brewing, to be honest. So keep going at the pace you can sustain, and let's see what we've added to our preps this week. I'm going to start over here with my Azure Standard haul. They are a great place to shop. If you already shop there, you know what I'm talking about. If you've never shopped with Azure, see if there's a drop near you. I'll put a link down below so you can see if you have a drop nearby, because this is not a place where you would want to have things shipped from them. It's kind of expensive, but they do drops where they ship things to a central location and you go pick them up. I'm lucky enough to have a drop 10 minutes from me, but I know folks who travel an hour or more for a drop, and it's totally worth it. So what I started with is a couple of cases of canning jars. They sort of recently came out with their own brand of canning jars, and I hadn't tried them because they weren't the cheapest option. But recently I bought some half-gallon ball jars, and then I checked and found out that the Azure Standard half-gallon jars anyways are cheaper than what I was paying for the ball jars at Walmart. So I got one case with lids and one case without lids because it's cheaper to get them without the lids and bands, and I already have a ton of lids and bands, but all of the Azure Standard canning jars come with the superb lids, which is amazing because these are really, really good lids. These are awesome. They're made in the USA in Amish country, and they are made for quality control to have better seal rates and less corrosion and everything. So if you've had trouble with your regular lids, try the Superb. Azure also sells these lids by themselves. I have bought these lids in bulk from them, but I got a case each of the jars with and without the lids. You can see they have a really nice design on them. These are half-gallon, like I mentioned. I'm going to mostly be using these for dry goods storage. I think these are really nice looking jars. I don't believe the jars themselves are made in the USA as of yet. They might be working towards that, but I thought I would give these a try since the price was really good. And then next right here, I got some yerba mate tea in bulk, loose leaf tea. I like to drink some of this tea every day if I can. I have for a long time. This is really good for all sorts of stuff. See, it says it's often selected as a coffee alternative. Let me tell you, I am not looking for any coffee substitutes. For me, there's no substitute for coffee. I love coffee, but I just look for things to have in addition. I think coffee has its own health benefits, so it's less acidic than coffee. It boosts immunity, cleanses your body, improves your mood, enhances your focus because it does have some caffeine. It just has less than coffee. Provides a feeling of sustained energy throughout the day. So like I said, I've been drinking this for quite a while, but I go back and forth on what brands I get. I was getting it in bags and they aren't available anymore, what I was getting. So I thought I would try this 1 pound bag of loose leaf from Azure Standard. It is organic. That is one thing about this company. They have impeccable quality standards. You can check out their quality standards on their website. If you do not want a bunch of yucky junk in your food, this is definitely a place that you can shop with confidence. And next you can see I got a bunch of bulk bags. The great thing about Azure Standard is you can buy things in bulk in these large bags to save money, but you can also buy things in smaller quantities. You can see I've got 50-pound bags here, I've got 25-pound bags, and I've got 5-pound bags. You can even get things in 1-pound bags or sometimes smaller like this. If you're looking for canned goods, you can buy a case of cans and save some money, but if you don't think you are going to use those up in time or you don't have room to store them, you can buy single cans. So you have choices. But what I've got here for some bulk goods is I have a 50-pound bag of hard red wheat. This would be the wheat that you would use to make like whole wheat bread. These are whole wheat berries. This is one of the best, most basic things you can store in your prepper pantry because most of us eat foods that use wheat flour on a regular basis, but wheat flour does not store that long. So wheat berries will store for 25 to 30 years. Of course, these are in paper bags. They're going to have to be repackaged in Mylar or something similar. But once repackaged, it can last a very, very long time, and it's going to maintain all the nutrition. Once wheat is ground into flour, it loses most of its nutrition within a few days. So you're really not getting most of the nutrition from the wheat when you just buy flour at the store. So if you buy whole wheat berries, you can grind your own flour and get better nutrition, and you can store them for much longer than you can store flour. So they're really a great thing to have. Of course, you want to make sure you have a wheat grinder, and for emergency purposes, you're going to want to make sure that you also have a manual wheat grinder. And Azure Standard sells those as well. There's lots of places you can get those. Make sure you have something like that if you store whole wheat berries. But you also can cook the wheat berries whole and make them into like a rice type of dish. So if you did have wheat berries stored and you didn't have a grinder or something happened to your grinder, you could still utilize this. You can sprout it, you can do all sorts of different things with it, and it's super healthy. Next, I got a 25-pound bag of Milo, which is otherwise known as sorghum. This is another grain. What I've really wanted this for, they have been sold out of this for quite a while, and I wasn't able to get it. So when I finally saw it come back, I grabbed it. I really wanted this when I was making my homemade chicken feed. I wanted it as an ingredient option because this can be used in chicken feed or probably other animal feed as well. But it's also for human consumption. So I do want to do some playing with this and play around with this, cook it up, try it. You can pop it like little popcorn kernels. There's all sorts of things you can do. So I got a 25-pound bag of the Milo. And then back here I have another 50-pound bag, and this one is semolina flour. This is flour that's already ground, so it's not going to last as long as whole wheat. Now, semolina is good for making pasta. That's what it's typically used for. And I got it in my head that I wanted to start making homemade pasta. I haven't done that in a long time. I did it in my childhood with my parents, with my aunts, but I haven't done it in a long time. So this is going to be a whole fun new experiment. They do sell the whole wheat berries for semolina flour, and that is called durum wheat. So if you want to store it for long term, to be able to grind it and make pasta from it, you would store the durum wheat. And next here I've got this 5-pound bag of inulin powder. This is something that is a prebiotic. It is basically fiber. If you look, it's got 10 grams of carbs and 10 grams of fiber. So it's completely fiber. This is a powder that I've been drinking in tea as a prebiotic, as like a nutritional supplement. And I have been buying it in 1-pound bags like this, but I've been using it enough that I decided it's time to start stocking up in bigger bags because this will save me money over the long run. And it ensures that I have a larger supply on hand if something were to happen and I weren't able to get it, because prebiotics really, really help with your digestion and things like that, and your gut health and all that. And I'm telling you, this really does wonders. I feel like for my digestion and my gut health, I do notice. It's supposed to be a sweetener as well. It's supposed to add some sweetness, but I got to tell you, I put a pretty large size scoop in my tea, and I still have to add sweetener. I don't really notice any sweetness from this. So I wouldn't consider this something you could really use as a sweetener, but it's more like a supplement, like a nutritional supplement. I'm not sure if it has other uses. If you know of other uses for inulin powder, let me know. And next in the bulk bags, I got some Redmond real salt. You've probably heard of this. This is real pure salt that is harvested from the United States of America. It's some of the best salt that you can possibly get. Salt is a very important nutrient for us to have in our prepper pantry. It really is necessary to sustain life, and it's also useful for things like preserving food and things like that. So if you actually look up the amount of salt it's recommended to store per person in your food storage, it's a lot. I can't remember how much it is. I'd have to look it up again, but it's a lot of salt. So this is going to go a long way towards making sure that we have the salt we need in our food storage. Salt is a forever food, so as long as you have space for it, you don't really need to worry about buying too much. All of this stuff in these bulk bags, I'm going to have to repackage. I'm going to package them in mason jars or Mylar bags, depending on what the item is. But that will be done to make sure that these things can stay good for the long term. Now, the other things I got in my Azure Standard order are these things right here. Now, a couple of these things are nutritional. This is a superfood mushroom hot chocolate. I've been utilizing mushroom products for nutrition a lot more in my diet, and I do love hot chocolate. So I just saw this and I wanted to try it. We'll see how it is. If I like it, I'm going to start stocking up on more. This gives you immune support and stress relief. We think it's important to find more natural ways to boost our immunity and try to keep ourselves healthy, just in case in the situation that there might not be medical help available. It's going to help to be the healthiest you can, and you can only stockpile so many antibiotics and things like that. So it's best to learn how to keep yourself healthy naturally. So this has a lot of immune support. This is a chaga and birch bark drink that I'm going to be trying. Supports a healthy energy and strength and immunity. Has a ton of really good nutrition in this, so I'm going to give this a try. And then these other items here, to understand why I got these, you're going to have to hear a little story about me when I was a child. When I was a child, my parents were basically hippies. We weren't allowed to have much sweets at all. My mom made homemade cookies, but other than that, we didn't really get sweets. So my parents, if we were going on hikes, they would buy these bars at the health food store that were called Waguru Chews. Probably nobody else out there has ever heard of these bars from when I was a child, but I loved them. They were the closest thing I ever got to a candy bar, so I thought they were great. They were basically really thick with nuts and seeds and held together with kind of a sticky, syrupy, almost caramelly kind of substance. I think about them sometimes. I look them up and Google them, and as far as I can tell, they're not made anymore. But I was able to find ingredients lists, and it's pretty simple. Like I said, it's nuts and seeds. And some of the other ingredients listed were things like brown rice syrup and barley malt syrup and cashew butter. And so basically, I'm hoping to try to recreate this treat that I used to have in my childhood. And so that's why I got some of these things. I'm going to be playing around, I'm going to be experimenting and see what I can come up with. Other than that, I'm not really familiar with what you would do with these products. I mean, the cashew butter, yes, but the barley malt syrup, the brown rice syrup, it's just a more natural sweetener, I guess. I don't know if there's really any benefit to it. I mean, they say sugar is sugar, but if you have any recipes that use these items or you know anything else to do with them, let me know, because I would love to find other things to do with these. And let me know if you have ever heard of the Waguru Chews or if I'm the only one. And next over here, I've got my Thrive Life haul. Once again, this is all stuff that was on sale. I love to buy from things that are on sale. I'm going to start with these meal pouches. I got a couple of meal pouches from the ones that were on sale. I've got 2 of this chicken spinach Alfredo, and I got 2 of this creamy mashed potato bowl. The other one's back there. I am doing a little bit of a restock on these. You know I love to make meals in a jar, and I even like to make meals in Mylar pouches, kind of like these, just add water meals. I love to make meals with my own recipes, my own ingredients, do them the way I want. But sometimes it is handy to have something that's pre-made for you. So we do stock these. And we've been using these lately when we've been traveling. Sometimes we'll throw a few of these pouches into our suitcases. They're super light. They don't take up too much room. You just need boiling water to make them. We've even done it with the coffee maker in our room before. And this really helps us stick to a budget when we're traveling and also stay a little bit healthier, because I tend to not eat the best when we go to restaurants, because I just kind of feel like I should be treating myself, and so I eat kind of junk. And it costs a lot, especially if we've gone places where we don't rent a car and we're kind of stuck using DoorDash and things like that. That's really expensive. So this way, this allows us to have a few meals that we can just fix up really easily right in our hotel room and just eat something and save us a little bit of calories and save us a little bit of money. Now, a couple of things that I really like about these meals compared to some of the other brands that we get. Number one, I love that these contain real vegetables. I know this one has spinach, for example, and the Alfredos that we've tried from other brands didn't really have any vegetables. I also like that these pouches are 3 servings compared to most of the other meals that we've tried are 2 servings. Now, granted, most people don't get as many servings out of any meal as what the package says. So these 3 serving meals, we would typically get about 2 servings out of them. But the 2 serving meals we typically would eat as a single serving. So these are a little bit bigger, so it really does suit our purposes, whereas usually both of us are going to eat. And then the third thing that I really like about these meals when I compare them to some of the other ones is the 20-year shelf life. Some of the other meals that are comparable to these in quality don't necessarily have as long of a shelf life because they're geared more towards backpacking than they are towards prepping. So these meals really check all the boxes for us, and they've got quite a variety of them now. In fact, they're going to be putting a pack with all the most popular meals on sale next week, so I'll probably grab one of those packs as well. And the next thing I got is some pulled pork. This is freeze-dried pulled pork. These meals are freeze-dried. I guess I forgot to mention that. It's probably a given. Probably everybody understands that. I stocked up on this because we love it, and it's on sale this month, 40% off, which is an awesome deal. If you've ever shopped for freeze-dried food, you may have had a little bit of sticker shock. I mean, I have sticker shock every time I go into the regular grocery store. These days, things are just so expensive. But the trick, no matter what kind of food you're buying, is to buy low. Buy at the best price that you're gonna get. So that's what I did here. Never pay retail if you can help it. I always hear people say this or that is so expensive, they would never buy it. Well, not if you know how to shop. You just need to be smart and strategic about your purchasing. I got a case of this pulled pork, which is 6 of these gallon-sized cans. So that's 126 servings of pulled pork that I just added to our preps right here. It's really important to stack proteins in your prepper pantry. I also got 2 cans of spinach. Freeze-dried is going to blow canned spinach away in terms of taste. And I love this stuff for adding some nutrition to just about any dish. It's already chopped, so you can just throw a handful into anything like pasta, meatloaf, smoothies, anything you want. And this is real nutrition, real food nutrition. So many so-called survival food companies throw around that word nutrition or nutrients, but what they do is just add artificial nutrition, vitamins and minerals in the form of powders and supplements. And it doesn't hurt to have a little extra insurance like that, but what your body really needs and can really use is real nutrients from real nutritious food. So watch for that trick when you're shopping for long-term food items. It's very common and people fall for it, but at least know what you're buying. And then I bought 1 can of sausage crumbles. This is another protein that we love to have in our prepper pantry. I use this in my jar meals all the time. We use it in cooking, sometimes quick cooking or camping, different things like that. The reason I only bought 1 can of the sausage and I bought a whole case of the pulled pork is basically just because the pulled pork was on a better deal. It had a steeper savings. So I find if you just grab the highest discounts whenever you can, things cycle around and pretty much everything is going to go on sale for those higher prices eventually. But shop smart, shop sales. All of this that I bought here is on sale for the whole month of April, but there is an additional huge sale coming up on Tuesday, April 23rd. It's one of only 3 major sales that happens throughout the year. So even if you only shop those 3 times a year, those are the ones you don't want to miss. If you want to get a sneak peek at what's going to be on sale, text me. Text sale to my text number. I'm going to put it down at the bottom of the screen and also in the video description. I will text you a sneak peek of the sale and then I'll send you an alert when the sale goes live so you don't risk missing out on the best deals. If you want to get absolutely the best selection, you can elect to become a consultant because consultants get to shop a day early. So if that's something you think you might be interested in, send me a text message or look down below for more info. That's a chance not only to help yourself by shopping a day early, but also to have the chance to start your own emergency preparedness business and really get a chance to help other people as well. There's multiple different avenues to do that. So that's a win-win right there if I ever saw one. This next bunch of stuff I got is from Amazon. And here I've got a couple of things. This is a collapsible electrical kettle. So this plugs in. You can see it's got an electrical cord and it collapses flat and it can pop right up. And this is something that I've had on my wish list for a while. I finally broke down and grabbed it. Like I mentioned, we do use just add water meals like this. You just add boiling water. We use them in hotels and things. We have used the coffee maker before, but I mean, I know a lot of people have mentioned how there's sometimes some sanitary issues with hotel coffee makers. And this last hotel room we were in didn't even have a coffee machine in the room. So I wanted to get one of these to travel with so that we would have the option for hot water in the hotel room. I'm going to give it a try and I will let you guys know what we think of it. I also grabbed this type, which this is just a little heating element that can go down into any pot or bowl or vessel, any type of vessel that you have that's not going to be melted by this heating element. You can put this down into. So I'm also going to try this one out and see how this works. Maybe try this with maybe some collapsible silicone bowls or mugs and see what we can do with this. So I've got a couple of different things I'm going to be trying out here. Next, I've got a couple bottles of this soy paste. This is something that I had never even heard of until recently, and I found a recipe that called for it. So I bought a bottle of it. We tried the recipe and we loved the recipe. So I've made that recipe quite a few times since then. So I'm stocking up on more of this soy paste. It's pretty thick. It's kind of like the consistency of honey maybe, and probably has a taste similar to soy sauce. I'm not very knowledgeable about it, but we do really like this recipe. So if you have any other recipes that use soy paste, send them my way because I'd be interested to find other ways to use this. And I will put a link to that recipe that I've been making down in the description box or the first pinned comment. Next, I got a case of this Near East Mediterranean curry couscous. This is just a boxed mix. I really love this. I've loved this for a long time. My kids all like it. They all enjoy it. The best thing about this, it's really great for emergencies because look what it says. Boil the water, stir in the couscous, cover and remove from heat. Let stand 5 minutes. That's it, and it's done. So it really doesn't require any cooking time, just adding boiling water because the couscous cooks so quickly. I think they have other versions. This is the one I buy. It has a really great flavor. It has some peas and carrots added into it. Next, I got this big box of minute rice. This is instant rice. I got this from Amazon. This is probably about the cheapest price that I get it for. I've bought it at the wholesale clubs before, and it's actually just as cheap or cheaper on Amazon, especially if it goes on sale. This is a large box. It's 72 ounces and it's 44 servings. And I actually go through quite a bit of this instant white rice if I am making meals in a jar or if I'm making my own meal pouches like these, because just like the couscous, it really only needs boiling water and some time to sit, and then it's done. So it's great for emergencies. It's great for camping. It's also great if I just need a little bit of rice really quickly to serve somebody some leftovers or something. I just need to whip something up really quick. I went through a lot of this making some meals in a jar recently, so I'm actually surprised I only bought one box, but I figured I'd buy maybe one box each week in my subscribe and save until I have more. Now this here is a bulk case of mouse traps. Now mouse traps is something you want to make sure that you have on hand, or something to deal with pests, especially in an emergency. You're not going to want to have pests getting into your precious food. These are the mouse traps that I use whenever we have mice come in the house. We live in a really old house. It's full of cracks and holes, so we get mice that come in. But I consider these a disposable item because I just can't. Like, once it's got a dead mouse in it, it goes in the garbage. So I do go through these when we have mice come in. So I finally broke down and bought this big box. These are the ones that I typically use. They're not the very cheapest, which I usually have trouble setting, but they're like the second cheapest. And this is a whole bunch of them, 72. Now let me just clarify, if I did find myself in an emergency situation where we weren't able to get things from the store, I would have a change in my ways, and I'm sure I would find it within myself to remove the dead mouse from the trap and reuse the trap. But for now, I just throw them away and I make sure to keep stocked up on plenty. I should not have to buy any more mouse traps for a very long time. But you always want to think about that possibility that you might not be able to get more, and just make sure you have plenty on hand. So next I've got just a few things from Walmart and Dollar Tree. These milks are from Dollar Tree. I need to get more than just the 3. I like to keep a lot of these on hand. They're each a quart. They're shelf stable for quite a while. They're usually shelf stable. They usually have dates on them that are about a year out, and they'll stay good for a while after that. They're not going to stay good forever after that. I have had some that were not very good, but they're good for at least a year on the shelf. So this is more of a short to medium term solution for dairy for your prepper pantry, because it's not going to last as long as a powdered instant milk, but it's going to last quite a while. It is shelf stable, and it has the benefit of not requiring water to be added to it. So if water is in short supply, this is the way to go. We keep these rotated by grabbing them and using them whenever we run out of milk. If I need milk for my coffee, or the kids need milk for cereal or something like that, and we realize we're out, we'll grab one of these. They're almost as cheap as buying a gallon of regular milk. And if they were, I would just buy these because it's just regular milk. And it's a quart at a time, so you don't have to worry about having to use up a whole gallon before it goes bad, or a half a gallon. And they have a nice square shape, so they fit, right on your shelf really easily. So I do keep quite a few of these on hand. I'm just buying 3 to replace some we've used. And this last box here, this is from Walmart. It's a 4-pack of the medium size of these rectangular canisters. Now, one thing to note, if you use canisters like these are not 100% completely airtight. They do let some humidity in over time. The only thing I ever notice it with really is freeze-dried fruits that we would eat just as snacks. You notice a little bit of humidity come in. I don't notice it with anything else I store in these, pastas, anything else. It doesn't bother. But know that they're not 100% airtight. If you want something that's 100% airtight, I recommend mason jar storage. But I do love these containers. When I buy these, I typically buy a 3-pack that has small, medium, and large. And the medium container is my most used, but I buy that multi-pack because it's the only way to get the small container, which is a 4-cup container. And I do use quite a few of those. But lately, I've found myself having some extra small ones, some extra big ones, and not having enough of the medium. So I bought this 4-pack of medium. It's definitely much less expensive buying them in multi-packs than it is buying them singly, which you can also do. And then, of course, the final thing that I have over here is just some personal care items, of course, feminine items. If that's something that's used in your house, you need to make sure to have plenty of those stocked up, and a little bit of hair care. These are things that get used regularly in most households, so you need to make sure that you're replacing it so you always have a good supply in case you are ever unable to get them from the store for any period of time. And that could be anything from a really big disaster to just a supply chain issue to even a personal financial crisis, like maybe you lose your job and you're not able to afford things like this until you find a new job. Lots of reasons to have a good supply of things stocked up in your home. Okay guys, that's what we've added to our preps this week. What areas are you trying to fill in? If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me your favorite flower emoji down in the comments and check out this video next for a basic prepper pantry stocking plan. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.